morning, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Today, we are doing a session on core training for road cyclists. We won't be doing sit-ups and we will not be doing crunches. I'm going to show you a better way. So before we get started, why don't you start your activity tracker, because we are doing a workout. We're not going to sweat and burn. It's not about that kind of stuff. I'm doing an educational tutorial workout. I'm going to show you a number of key exercises that you can do for core training to help make you stronger and last longer on the road bike. It is springtime. A lot of people are getting out on the road, so I thought this would be a great time to do this. Okay, so first of all, if you have questions or comments, please put them in the section below the video and I will answer them after this tutorial is over. So why do we want a stronger core on the bike? Well, we want a stronger core in life in general. So everybody should be doing core training, in my opinion. It is for everyone, right? But for road cycling, it can help us generate more power and last longer and help with body positioning and form while you're cycling. So let me give you a little example. So let's say you're not you don't have a strong core and there's a lot of weaknesses in there, balances, or you just don't train it, you don't pay any attention to it, you just don't care. Or I should say you care, but you don't have the time, right? Now, maybe after this video you will make time. But you're sitting on the saddle and you're pedaling and you have what I call a noodly spine. So it looks like this. Now look at my balance when I do this, right? Now nobody rides a bike like that, I know, but I'm just giving you an example. Now let's say you develop a strong core. You develop core spine stiffness through the spine that can help you stabilize your spine while you're riding, so it's not all noodly, okay? It's a nice stable spine, nice stable pelvis, nice stable upper body, and then so you're bracing, you're nice and strong, pelvis is strong, everything is strong, and then you pedal. Okay, so a nice strong core can help you stabilize your trunk, so you can generate more power into those legs and do the job that you want it to do, right? So the power comes from here, nice and strong through here, and it comes out through your limbs. All right, if you want to learn more about core training and its benefits and all things core, you definitely want to follow Dr. Stuart McGill, backfitpro.com. Follow him on YouTube. Well, actually, he doesn't have a channel on YouTube, but he's all over YouTube. He's on Instagram. He's on Facebook and so forth. So follow him. Okay. Before we get started, let's warm up. Now, there's three ways you can warm up for your core session, but you can also do this pre-ride, every time you pre-ride. So we can do dynamic stretching. So dynamic stretching are things like this. Okay, and so you would want to warm your body up from head to toe. So you can start doing this, okay? Cross over like this. Some cat-cows. So we bring our hands down on our thighs, and then we do a couple standing cat-cows, warming up that spine. I usually start with some dynamic movements like this. It doesn't have to take a long time, but it does play over and make you feel better when you start to ride. Hands on your hips, do some circles. And the other way. We can pull our knees up towards our chest. This is a movement, bringing your legs up when you're pedaling on the bike. So you can start to warm up those hips, warm up the hip flexors. You can do some external rotation circles like this. Actually, it's internal and external, using the knee, so you're crossing over the front of the body, internal, and then external rotation in the hip. So you get both. And now the other side. You can do like 5, 6, 7 reps. Feel it out. If you're very stiff, you may have to do more. My hips are pretty loose. And then we can do just some light, easy squats. Again, this is all for warming up. We're not trying to do, work your squats or build strength here. We're just trying to get some mobility, some movement, some blood flow, opening up the joints, get the joints moving. Depends on how you are feeling today. So, and then I like to go a little deeper each time. And then I'll go down to the floor and move around. Lift the hips up, keep the hands on the floor, and then back down. You can feel those hamstrings. Okay, and then in this position, we can do a couple reach ups like this. So you're going to keep your feet flat on the floor, but you're going to twist and reach up towards the ceiling as far as you can go, but do it gentle in increments. So don't try to like crank yourself open right off the bat. This should feel good. And then bring those hips back up. Bring your feet back into like a downward dog. And then we'll just pedal our feet out a little bit, our legs out, but you're trying to get your heels towards the floor and think about your calf muscles here. And then walk those toes towards your hands and roll yourself back up. Take a big deep breath. Okay, that's a nice little full body stretch. You can also do some wrist circles. As we know, those hands get numb sometimes on the bike, right? Shake them out. Also, same thing with your feet. Let's do some ankle circles. All of this helps. Point and flex. And it only needs to be a 5-minute routine. Unless you're really stiff, then I would say double that time. And these can also be used for active recovery workouts as well. You can do them post-ride and then on days off. Okay, shake out those feet, shake out the arms, the legs, everything. So that is one way you can warm up. You can also extend that further with some foam rolling. I'm not going to get in that today. I'll do another session on foam rolling pre-ride. I do have one video on my YouTube channel already, but I can do one specifically for cycling. But this is a vibrating foam roller. It has 3 settings, hyper ice. This is fantastic for warming up. This is my go-to, especially when I don't have a lot of time and I have to pick one method to warm up. The foam roller trumps. And I usually do my joints and then any spots that I find that are sore, like I have one right here that tends to get sore, so I'll roll that for 30 seconds. And then I just do the joints and then bam, 5 minutes in the spots where I feel like I need it, and then I'm out the door. It's fantastic. And then you can do a combo of both. You could do dynamic warm-ups, stretching, and then you could do foam rolling, and that's your combo. So you have 3 ways to warm up. And those are also, like I said, post-workout. You can use them for post-workout, post-ride, or on your days off for mobility work. Okay, so let's just talk a little bit before we dive into the exercises. I'm just going to mention one thing. When I work with my cycling clients, in the off-season, we have a more well-rounded program because they're not riding as much. So strength training and core training, we're doing a 360 all around, head to toe, front to back, a very well-rounded program. We also work on correcting imbalances and identifying weak areas and working on that. Now, in the on-season, which is what we're moving into now, a lot of us are entering base, or maybe you've been base training all winter and you're starting to get on the road and you're amping it up a little bit. So now we're going to work on not so much the same muscles that we use on the bike, predominantly like when we're in the bike position on the road bike, we're either in our drops or on the hoods or whatever. So we have a very much anterior working set right here. So our chest, our triceps, our anterior deltoids, our hip flexors, of course, our quads and glutes and so forth, and a lot of muscles that are working. So in the on season, I tend to work a lot more on the posterior chain. So we work on the back muscles, a lot of the muscles at the back of the spine, like the multifidus, you always have trouble pronouncing that. And then the transversus abdominis, of course. These are deep layer muscles. You don't see them. It's not about a six-pack. It's about strengthening, making the spine really stable, and so you can generate power. So we're talking about the deep layers here. And then, your rear delts, your traps, your lats, your quadratus lumborum, of course your glutes, hamstrings, and all that kind of stuff. So we work a little bit more on the posterior chain. So deadlifts, glute bridges. These are core training exercises, okay? People don't think of them as core training, but they are. And today I'm going to show you how. So the number one exercise we're going to begin with is the bird dog. This is probably the best core exercise you could do always. And if you only have opportunity to do one core exercise for your cycling, it is bird dog. So let's get down on the floor and I'm going to show you. All right, so first of all, I'm going to show you what not bird dog is, and it's on social media like crazy. So I'm going to show you what it is not. So it is not this. Okay, you see that a lot. The point of doing bird dog is to create stiffness in the spine and then generate movement in the limbs while keeping the spine nice and stiff. So you work the muscles surrounding the spine and help train them for muscular endurance so they can hold and support the spine in certain positions. So we want to do that with bird dog. We want to take these benefits and have them roll over into our cycling, transfer over. So the first thing you need to do is spread your fingers, put them on the floor, make sure they're below your shoulders. Make sure your knees are hip width apart and they're also below your hips, okay? So you're in a nice table position. Keep your neck in line with your spine, okay? And then you want to brace your core. So what is bracing your core? That, just pretend somebody's punching you in the stomach, right? And you're going to brace and fight it, okay? You're not going to collapse like this, because sometimes people are like, oh, well, I'd go like this. No, you want to brace that like you're bracing for impact, okay? So you brace the whole way around. Another way of thinking of bracing your core is put your fingers on your rib cage like this. Take a deep breath in. You'll feel it expand like an umbrella, and then it'll come down. When you exhale, you're hugging your spine the whole way around, okay? So that's what you want to do. You want to have a nice, solid, stable feeling through here, and you're engaging. So you want to do that the same in this position. Make sure you're neutral. So you're not like this bracing, and you're not like this bracing. You're in neutral position. So neutral is your natural way your spine is. You bend at the hips. Make sure you're neutral. You might need to adjust your pelvis a little bit. Brace and hold it. Now, bring the hand up, make a fist, okay? You're going to punch this forward, out like that, and extend the opposite leg with your heel out like this, without flexing or extending the spine. So the spine does not move. Pay attention to your back, to your spine, and make sure it's not moving while you do this exercise. So, nice and stable. Also set your shoulder blades, kind of like you're corkscrewing your hands into the floor. So let's do this again. Spread fingers, hands on floor. Corkscrew, set shoulders, brace core, check pelvis, make sure it's in alignment, check neck, make sure it's in alignment. Make a fist with one arm. Flex that foot of the other leg. Push them away from the body, making yourself nice and strong, stable, and push it away. And you can hold that. And then you can bring it back in. Now, there's different ways you can do this. You can hold for 10 seconds and then release and switch sides. What we're going to do right now is a set of 10 reps, and we're going to do it on each side. So we're going to move through this nice and fluid. It's a dynamic movement here. Okay, so let's do this again. Set, corkscrew, set the shoulders, brace the core, make sure pelvis and neck is, activated and in line with the spine. And then you're going to have your hand, make a fist, get that leg ready, and let's push away. 1, 2, 3, feel that? You should be feeling it. 4, keeping your spine stable. 5, 6, 7, a mirror helps if you have a mirror. 8, feel that tension building. 9, 10. Take a rest. Awesome. Now, if you were doing that right, you would have felt it up through the arm and the back of the shoulders, in your back, the whole way around here, but also in the back, in your glutes as well, because you're activating those glutes too. So that's what you want to do. Keep your spine still, bird dog. Let's do the other side. Set your shoulders, brace your core, pelvis and neck in line with spine. Make that fist, and let's extend. 1, 2, 3. Now 10 is just a number. 4, it's not 5. The number doesn't make you stronger. 6, it's just a guide. So if you got to do less, 7, that's okay. 8, 9, 10. Awesome. So keep everything engaged. You should be feeling that like in a lot of places. Check your hands one more time on each side for practice, and then we'll switch. We're halfway. It's 16 minutes into this 30-minute session already. I don't want to keep you too long. Okay, here we go for the other side. Make that fist. Let's extend. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Awesome. One more time on the other side. Then we'll move on. I had 6 exercises I wanted to show you today. We'll see if we're able to get to them all. We might go over 30 minutes a little bit. I'll try not to talk so much. Okay, other side. That's going to be a real challenge. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, nice and focused. Keep that engagement. Think about what you're doing. 3, don't let go. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, keep that spine still. 9, 10. Oh, okay. When you're doing it right, it's engaged, it's work. All right, let's move on to the next one. The next one I would highly recommend for roadies is to do side planks. It works the lateral side of the body, and we're moving we're moving in a forward sagittal plane. So we want to get the sides of our body. So this one exercise, people often think of training their core, but it actually trains your glute med and the lateral muscles in your leg for the whole way down. It trains the shoulders, the back, the chest, like a lot. It's a lot more than just your obliques. So there's a couple different positions. Stack your foot like this. Have this shoulder under, or this elbow underneath the shoulder. You can put your hand here to help stabilize that shoulder. You make sure that you're nice and straight. That's why we call it a plank. So make sure you're straight from your head the whole way down. And generally the plumb line through the body should be straight. If you have somebody to use a dowel on you to help, or a mirror so you can see yourself. And then what you do is you bring yourself up and you hold like that. Now, I don't like to keep my arm here. I prefer to keep my arm here and up like this, and then I also stack my feet like this, but that's up to you. You can do this from your knees. So let's say that's too challenging, you can start with this, same thing, lift like that. And if you have a bum shoulder, lay down like this, zip your legs together, keep them straight, keep your hand here for stability so you don't fall forward. Hips are stacked, and then you lift your legs like this, keeping your feet zipped, and you'll feel that. Now, you won't get the same benefits, but you're still training your core, okay? And you just hold that. We're gonna do just one plank on each side. So pick one of those positions, and we're gonna hold for 15 seconds, all right? Actually, we'll hold for 10 seconds. I prefer to start with 10 seconds early in the season. If you haven't been doing planks and this is the first time, start with 10 seconds, then build up to 15 seconds, and you can build up to 10 seconds, but a bit more. But really, if you do them in 10 seconds and then rest and do multiple sets, that's better because you give those little muscles a break when they're needed. Okay, get ready, set, let's lift. So we'll go for 1, 2, 3, keep your head in line, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and then flip over to the other side. We'll do the same thing. Just one on each side for demonstration purposes. Plus you get to feel what it feels like and some modifications. So pick one of the 3 that I showed you. Get set, get ready, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now what you could do is you just switch back and forth, and you could do 6 sets on each side, up to 6 sets. Or even, yeah, like work up to it, 3 to 6 sets on each side. Okay, now we are going to get on with some single leg work. Okay, so this is, you're like, but this is a core training session. But this is core work you do while you're training the legs as well. It's like you're not using your core when you're doing these free weight workouts, okay? I show you how to use your core more and get a whole bunch of benefits in one. So for the sake of demonstration, I'm just going to take a light weight. You can work up to this. We're going to do a single leg deadlift. This is awesome because you're hip hinging. You're working all the stabilizers in your hips when you do this exercise, but you're also working your core, of course, if you're keeping it properly engaged and aligned. So let me demonstrate what that I mean by that. So first of all, I like to crush my armpits. So it's my shoulders, I set my shoulders, and then I crush my armpits. So now I'm engaging my chest and my back and my shoulders right here, just through this. Engage my core. And then I find that balance through the bottom of my foot. And it's like I'm pushing pressure through the bottom of my foot into the floor. It's almost like I'm pushing, right? I am pushing, actually. Bend that knee slightly, and then the back leg comes off the floor as I hip hinge in my hip. Obviously, hip hinge. But I'm going to keep everything stabilized. So my back and neck and my upper body should look the exact same in this position as I hinge forward. So watch what happens. So I'm going to tip forward as I hinge. Everything stays neutral. And then I come back up. Okay? What happens is when people do this, they go like this. Right? They run their back and it looks like that. And that's not engaging your core. So let's try a couple of these. We'll do 5 on each leg, just for demonstration and so you can try it. And you're getting a little workout here too. So you can go from head to toe, through the bottom of your foot. Nice, good, strong, even stance on your foot. Have a little bend in the knee. Brace your core. Brace that upper body. So I like to crush my armpits and engage my shoulders, everything, the whole way around, chest, back, everything. And then hinge forward from the hip joint. Whoa, it's gonna challenge your balance. Just go slow. And then back up. Whoa, nice and slow. First couple are going to be a little sloppy because your body's going to get used to it. Rehearse that movement first. Okay, and tip forward. And then back up. You can put your foot down in between just to reset. Forward. And back up. You can also use the wall if your balance is really bad. Forward, back up, You're going to feel that in the ankle and in the calf muscles as well. One more time. Now, I just took a really light weight, and I found that challenging. You don't even need a weight with that. And if your balance is off, you can use the wall, or you can use a dowel. So I'll show you how you can use them with dowels. So you can put your dowels like this. We're going to switch legs now. So if you have dowels or you have a wall, you can follow me through, or you can just use the dumbbells like we just did on the other leg. Your choice. It's the same thing. Pressure through the foot. Okay, bend that knee a little bit. Brace your core, your upper body. Let your hands be soft on the dowels if you're holding. And then you're going to hinge forward. See, my hands they're just there to help balance me, but not do the work. I'm not pushing on them or pulling on them or anything like that. And then hinge forward. Keeping your core braced. Your pelvis is part of your core now. So is your head. Forward. And brace. People think core is six-pack. It's not. It's like over 33 muscles. Bend forward. And up. Again. And last one. One thing I didn't mention yet at all, which I should have, my bad, is breathing. You can exhale on the, so if you're doing this here movement, I would inhale as I hinge, and then I would exhale as I come up, okay? All right, I'm going to show you another one. This one is my personal favorite because I get the farmer's carry, or the carry, and then I get a reverse lunge at once. You get a full body workout with this next exercise. You're going to need 2 dumbbells, and they should be fairly heavy. Okay, you can start with light ones until you get the movement pattern, and then you can increase the reps. By the way, when you're doing core training or during your base season, I recommend a low weight and high rep scheme to build, because you're working on muscular endurance. So you want longer time under tension to build muscular endurance. As you get later on in the season, you get the competitive build, you can change that up. All right, so weights are by your side, palms are facing you. And again, it's that same upper body technique. So I like to crush my armpits into my sides. And I just use that as a metaphor, as in what I'm doing with my body. So I'm engaging my chest, back, shoulders, and my core. So everything is engaged. And then I'm going to step back. So I get my hip flexors, a nice good stretch in my hip flexors. And then I dip down, come back up, and bring my feet together like that. If you have tight hip flexors, this is the exercise for you, which is common. Tight hip flexors in cyclists is common. I have an uneven thing here that's bugging me. Okay, let's do this. So grab your weights, brace your upper body. Okay, nice strong grip on those weights. So right here we have the farmer's carry, and now we're going to step back. Actually, it's the carry. The farmer's carry, you walk forward. And then step forward. Here we go. Back. You don't have to touch your knee on the floor, but if you can, good. If you can't, good. It doesn't matter. Work at getting there. You got to increase that mobility. And if you can't get it there, take a light weight. Start with a light weight. Just doing a couple. One leg. Notice how this feels in your core when you're bracing properly. One more. I think that's 8. Okay, let's switch legs. This one a lot of people hate. They don't like to do lunges, but they're a fundamental movement. Everybody should be doing lunges. We lunge every time we walk. We lunge every time we walk up the steps. When we run, we lunge. All right, here we go. Step back, the other leg. Here you will notice which leg is stronger than the other. So if you have a weak leg, you can do more on that leg and try to get that leg up to speed. Okay, let's do 3 more. Keep that engagement. That's the trick. Once you start to fall apart, stop the exercise. 1 more. I always do my workouts with my bare feet too, because you work more muscles. So yeah, we'll talk about form just for 1 second before I show you the last exercise, and then we'll do a quick cool down. When you're doing strength training, any exercise, people get so hung up on a number. What happens, what the problem with that is let's say you're supposed to go to 15 reps, but on number 10, you notice that you're starting to fall apart. And what I mean by that is maybe you're starting to get wobbly. Maybe you can't move efficiently or smoothly anymore. Or maybe you're losing your step or your balance or anything. The point of the exercise is done. Don't let the number rule you. You got to go by what you feel inside. So if number 10, if you're at the end of the line for number 10, then stop, rest. It doesn't mean you're failed or anything like that. It's part of the process. So don't get hung up on the number. Pay attention to how you feel and know when you have reached the point where the benefits are it's no longer beneficial to keep going with those sloppy reps. Okay, let's do the last exercise I'm going to show you, because this one is also really good, because as you know, we're like this on the road bike. So in our drops, on the bar, in the hoods, whatever, we're bent over like this. So our backside, this is why I train the posterior chain a lot more during on season. Our backside needs a lot more strengthening exercises. So our core, I'll show you 3. You can combine these into one exercise or you can do them separately. So you want to grab a light weight. We're going to do a low row, mid row, and a reverse fly. So it looks like this. We bend over, okay? We bring our weights like this. And by the way, we're keeping everything engaged. All the things I taught you so far about core engagement, that plays over all the time in all your exercises. Anytime you're in the gym, okay? So again, core engagement, bend over, keep your spine nice and neutral and strong and supported, and then we're going to row up like this and squeeze our back, okay? So we're at low here, low back. So low mid back like this. So more across here. You're hitting your lats predominantly. So you row up and then slowly come down. Row, squeeze, hold, slowly come down, okay? So you would do 10 to 15 reps of that. Then the next one, you can take a wider stance. This is one of my favorites, and you're gonna hit the rhomboids, mid-traps, and rear delts with this one. So you bend like this. Again, you wanna be nice and strong, always through your feet, by the way, okay? So you have a strong engagement, corkscrew your feet into the ground, bend over, and then you're gonna pull out. Now your elbows come out and you hit the middle back, and then back down. Pull, squeeze for a second, and slowly lower. Don't squeeze too hard, just enough to notice the muscles that you're targeting. People often ask, where am I supposed to feel it? Here in your middle back, predominantly. And then for the rear delts and upper back, so you get your upper traps and your rear delts and so forth, you can take your weights, palms are facing each other now, and then you can do a reverse fly. So like this, and then back down. And then back down. Now, if you can't hold the weights out here like this, it might be that they're too heavy. So if you have to go like this in order to lift, we don't want that. We're working on our core here. We're using these exercises to engage our core and train our core. So we bend forward, nice and slow, open, have that little pause, slowly lower, keeping that engagement, okay? And you'll notice that you'll want to break those 3 up if you're doing a lot of reps per each. So you can do a combo where you row, you mid back like that, mid row, so low row, mid row, and then a fly, do a couple reps. Or you can break them up into different sets of all low, mid, and then reverse fly. So you would take rests in between those. Okay, that's all I have time to show you. It's 33 minutes in. We're gonna do a quick cool down, stretch, and then let me know if you would like to see this routine put into an actual workout, because I can do that. This was more of an educational session today, but I can show you, I can actually develop this into a routine. And if you would like that, I will make one for my viewers. All right. So because we're always like this on the bike, well, we're not going like this with our arms, but you know what I mean, right? We're pedaling. We want to stretch this out. So let's lay down on our back and start with just that. Hands above the head and some big, deep breaths. You can put your arms wherever they feel good. Now, I have a bum shoulder, my right shoulder, so reaching really high over my head doesn't feel good. So I bend my arm a little bit. So start with this. Some big, deep belly breathing. Breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth really slow. So your out breath is actually longer than your in breath. That helps to calm you. As you lay here, you want to just think about all the muscles. So from your fingertips to your toes, and you can just do a body scan. So start with your fingers, go to your elbows. Now your shoulders. You can even lift them up and readjust. Make sure that they're nice and soft. Now let's take the face as well. Let's relax our forehead, our eyebrows, our eyes, our jaw, all that stuff. You can even close your eyes if you wish. And think about your chest, your back, your belly, your hips, your thighs, your knees, your ankles, your feet. Just scan the whole body and make sure you're not holding any tension anywhere. Excellent. Now let's take our knees up, grab our knees and do some circles. I'm not going to do a big routine because we're running out of time, but I want to take you through a couple that feel really good that I like to do for road cycling. So this massages my low back into the floor. Now, for a hip flexor stretch that's nice and light and gentle, grab one knee, let the other leg lay out straight, and you can just focus on relaxing the muscles in the hip. You can take that opposite arm and bring it above the head. Now, if you want to get more of an inner thigh stretch, you can take that other leg and pull it out. Make sure this hip does not pop off the ground. So bring it back in, and now we can do the same thing on the other side. So just bring the legs up, give them a hug, stretch out the other one. Focus on that hip, relax. Think about relaxing it. Bring that arm above the head, and now you can take that knee out. Again, you want to hold these longer than what I'm showing you today. I would say about 20 seconds at least for each exercise, for each stretch. All right, bring the knees up. Now put your feet down. Just windshield wiper them back and forth like this. And then pick a side, any side, I don't care what side, and we're going to roll over. Perfect. Now you can do your general stretching, like your quads and your hip flexors and all that kind of stuff, but I want to show some for the low back. So you can put your hands here, relax, bring your feet together, relax through the low back and your glutes. This one I got from a physiotherapist. You're going to do what's called sloppy push-ups. You take a deep breath in, and you're going to exhale as you push up. And then breathe in as you go down. Exhale as you push up. When I was getting low back pain from cycling, my physiotherapist gave me this one. Now, it's not applicable to everybody, so you have to feel it out, see if it's right for you. But one of the key things that I used to do was tighten my glutes when I would do this, and she's like, no, relax them. So you can get that movement in the lower part of the back, and I'm pretty stiff through there. So. One more time, and we're going to come up. And now I want you to tuck your knees underneath you and sit back into a child pose. As we know, this one is great for opening up the whole entire upper body. I love this one. So when you're here, you want to take some nice big deep breaths. You can also walk your hands over to one side and come back down. You can walk your hands over to the other side, do the same thing. Spend more time there. Now, you can come up, and we're going to do a hip flexor stretch, because this one, again, a lot of cyclists suffer with tight hip flexors. So we are going to swing that leg forward. Actually, I'll do the demonstration here so you can see. So what some people do is they dump like this. What we want to do is keep this in a nice 90-degree position. Tuck your pelvis underneath instead. So it's like you're taking your tailbone and pointing it forward. Now you're going to start to feel that without doing this hyperextension in the low back. So we just tuck underneath. You can feel that stretch in your quads as well, but you need to extend because the hip flexor is a long muscle that comes up. So you need to go up like this with your arm. And then if you like, you can turn back like this. There's a really good stretch by Jeremy Ethier, I think it is, Jeremy Ethier on YouTube, and he's with Dr. Stuart McGill, and he talks about glutes and hip flexors. It's really good. You can also tilt in the opposite direction. So you have to feel it and find what works for you. And then bring it back. And then also if you want to go a little deeper, instead of dumping like this, you can just lunge forward a little deeper like that, and then tilt again and bring your arm up as you get more flexible, more mobility in there. Same thing, so switch your legs. So get in a nice neutral position, 90 degrees, 90 degrees, okay? Tilt your tailbone underneath. You can feel that stretch already if you're tight, like I am. And then bring your arm up, thumb is back. So you can stay right here if you like, or you can open it up a little bit more by turning slightly, or you can bend like this. And again, if you need to adjust to go a little deeper, just shift the whole body forward a little bit. But try to keep it out of that low back so you're not going like this. You want the stretch to be in the hip flexors. You want to focus on that. Awesome. Excellent. Great. Okay. That's it for today. I had planned on covering so much more, but I realized when I do these educational tutorials, I do talk a lot. But like I said, if you want to see this in a workout, if you liked all of this today and you want to see it in a workout, post in the comments section below. If I don't see any comments or requests for it, I'm not going to do it. Bye for now. Happy riding.